Good morning, everyone. This is Divya, lecturer in physics in BRRR and GKR Chambers Degree College. Students, in last class, we are discussing about differential amplifier, transistorized differential amplifier. Now, we go to our next concept in operational amplifier is IC identification. Nothing but integrated circuit identification. How to identify a chip for usage, for our usage or general purpose. For we are regularly using the voltage amplifiers. We are previously discussing about voltage amplifiers is represented with a code IC741. Here IC741 is a code for the identification of voltage amplifier. Here different codes are used for different purposes and different manufacturers. Different manufacturers produces different codes for identifying the integrated circuit. Not all the manufacturers produces the same code. Here different codes are available. This code tells the user to identify the type of op amp and its reliability and cost and package. Here we have the concept of IC identification is most manufacturers use an identification code that enables the user to identify the type of op amp used, its manufacturer and type of package and its quality. Not all the manufacturers use exactly the same code. Different manufacturers having different codes. These codes consists of three parts. First one is letter prefix and second one is circuit designation and third one is letter suffix. Mainly IC chip is identified with the three parts: letter, suffix, prefix and designation. Initially we identify the prefix and then circuit designation and then suffix. What is meant by prefix? Prefix is nothing but a letter which is having 2 to 3 characters or letters. A letter prefix code usually consists of 2 to 3 letters that identify the manufacturing concern. The most prefixes are used is given below as prefix and manufacturer. AD is the analog devices. The manufacturer for AD prefix, the prefix having a letter AD, then it represents the manufacturer of analog devices, and LM is for National Semiconductor Corporation and MC is for Motorola and UA is for Fairchild manufacturers. Here the different manufacturers uses different codes for the prefix letter prefix. The letter prefix consists of 2 to 3 letters. Then this letters indicates the type of manufacturer. This is about the letter prefix. And next one is circuit designation. What is meant by circuit designation? Here circuit designation consists of 3 to 7 characters which are both numbers and letters. This designation is having numbers and letters from 3 to 7 characters. The designator indicates two things. First one is the type of op amp we used and the second one is the temperature range. Here we have the concept, the 3 digits number indicates the specific type of op amp and second one is the final letter indicates the operating temperature range. For example, here we have the example 741C. Here 741 is the number, 3 digit number which indicates the type of op amp. Here the type of op amp is general purpose op amp and the C, letter C is represents the temperature range. This temperature range indicates commercial range. There are different types of temperature range there. I have to explain that ranges. Here we have the most commonly used temperature codes for op amp are given below. First, the letter is nothing but code, temperature range and application. The letter C is used for the range of temperatures from 0 to 70 degrees centigrade. Then that Temperature range is nothing but commercial purpose application. Next, I is the temperature ranges from 95 degrees centigrade to 85 degrees centigrade. This can be used at industrial purpose. And the letter M, which represents the temperature range of minus 55 to 125 degrees centigrade. These are used in military purpose. Here the letter CIM are used for commercial and industrial and military purpose within these temperature ranges. This is about the circuit designation. The circuit designation having the characteristics of 3 to 7 and these 3 to 7 characters having numbers and letters. The number represents the type of op amp and the letter represents the temperature range. Okay. Our next part, third part, nothing but letter suffix. Here letter suffix having two characteristics or one single characteristic. The two letter suffix identifies the package type, the type of package the chip is housed. Regularly, the chip is housed in the form of rectangular shape having a dual inline leads. That means dual inline. Dual means double. Inline. The leads are applied at rectangular shape in anti-clockwise direction with a number of leads, having the electrical leads at both sides of the housing. That's why they are called as dual inline package. Here the letter suffix, the two letter suffix identifies the package style, the house, the chip. The common package suffix are, here we have code package type. D represents the plastic package of dual inline dip. Dual inline is nothing but dip. And the letter J represents ceramic dip. D is for plastic and J is for ceramic dual inline package. And N comma P represents the plastic dip insertion into the sockets having long leads. Having long leads. This is the code and package type for the letter suffix. Finally, we have the example. Mu A 741C P 8 pin. Here package P having 8 pins. Here mu A is nothing but prefix and 741C is the designation and P is the suffix. Here IC identification having three main parts: prefix, suffix. Mu A represents the prefix. Mu A is nothing but the manufacturer is Fairchild. 741 is the number for general purpose op amp. And C is the commercial range temperature. And P is a plastic package dip. Dual inline package of plastic housed with, the chip is housed with plastic. This is the 8 pin configuration chip. Here we have prefix Mu A Fairchild, 741 general purpose, C is for commercial temperature range and P is for plastic package dip. This is about the IC identification of an op amp. Mainly we are identifying the ICs with respect to manufacturers and type of package and type of temperature range and type of op amp we are using. These are the main things we identifying the chip. This is about the IC identification. Okay, our next concept is pin configuration of op amp. What is the pin configuration? In the suffix we are discussing the housing. Plastic housing is surrounded by the chip. Yes, this plastic housing having how many pins? That may be 8 pin or 10 pin or 12 pin or 14 pin. Depends on the type of configuration. Here we have, usually this is numbered in counterclockwise around the chip. It is a 8 pin IC. Here represented the diagram is a 8 pin IC. They provide superior performance in integrator summing amplifier. In integration and summing amplifiers, this is performance is superior. Usually this is a numbered configuration. The numbered configuration is 8 pin in counterclockwise, nothing but anti-clockwise direction. Here the diagram shows the black-ended notch. This is the notch. From this point to the left side is represented with a number 1. Starting lead is 1. Go to the counterclockwise direction. This is a dual inline plastic package. Here it is a dual inline plastic package. Dual inline. The both sides of the rectangular housing having a leads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are the leads of this package. Okay. Here first one is offset null and second one is inverting terminal and third one is non-inverting terminal, fourth one is positive supply voltage and fifth one is offset null, sixth one is output terminal, seventh one is negative power supply terminal and eighth one is not connected. Here we have 8 pins having different names. 1 and 5 are offset nulls. 2 and 3 we are already know that inverting terminal and non-inverting terminal, nothing but input terminals. And sixth one is output terminal. And 4 and 7 are positive and negative power supply terminals. In op-amp, regular design of triangle having 2 input terminals and single output terminal, the negative terminal is numbered as 2 and the positive terminal is numbered as 3 and the output terminal is numbered as 6 and the positive and negative power supplies are numbered as 4 and 7. These are the mainly used pins. But according to first and fifth pins, go to the first and fifth pins. What is meant by offset null? We know that if the input terminals are given to same voltage source, then the output produced at the output terminal is 0 in case of, but in case of practical op-amp, here the 1 and 5 pins are nothing but offset null. Offset null is nothing but we already know that if the input terminals are applied to common mode signals, then the output becomes 0 in case of ideal op-amp, but in case of practical op-amp it shows some voltage, then that voltage is nothing but offset voltage. This can be reduced by using offset null. Initially the output voltage shown by op-amp, this can be reduced by the that pins 1 and 5. This can offsets the to null voltage by using the 1 and 5 pins. Here we have the concept. The main pins in IC741 are pin 2, 3, 6. A positive voltage is applied to pin 2 of op-amp. We get output as negative voltage. Through pin 6, the polarity has been inverted. If the positive voltage is given to the inverting terminal, nothing but pin 2, then it produces the output at the 6th terminal in inverted form. The phase is inverted by 180 degrees. If the input is given to the non-inverting terminal, that is nothing but pin 3, then it produces the amplified output voltage at a terminal 6 in phase without changes in any phase difference. Without any phase difference, the output is produced. We get output as a positive voltage through pin 6. Polarity remains same. VCC is usually in the range from 12 to 15 volts. Op-amp IC74 ICs are available in market as 8-pin metal can, 10-pin flat pack or 8 or 14-pin dip dual inline package. Here the metal can, here have the metal can is having 8 pins and the 10 pin flat pack it is, and pin dual inline package 8 pin and 14 pin dual inline packages are here. This is the pins, IC pins available in our market. ICs are available in our market. This is the pin configuration of IC 741. we can identify the pins in counterclockwise direction having dual inline leads. Circuit leads are having one side 4 pins and another side having 4 pins, 1 2 3 4, and another side is having 5 6 7 8. 8 is there is no connection to the 8th pin. We are using only 7 pins here. In that 7 pins we are mainly using the 5 pins, 2 for input and 1 for output, and another 2 terminals for voltage, power supply voltage. This is about the pin configuration. Our next concept is op amp power supply or power supply voltage. Actually, the power supply voltages are applied to 4th and 7th terminals are same. Magnitudes are same, but the signs are different. Here, normally a symmetrical power supply, symmetrical means same, but appears different. Power supply systems V plus and V minus are used, that is, two separate DC power supplies are used. The op amp has two supply voltage inputs labeled as plus V and minus V. Many op amps were designed to operate on a dual power supply system. Typically, the supply is plus or minus 12 volts. When operated on supplies lower than 12 volts, then the performance of op amps is decreases. Would be poor. With increasing development in design and methodology, a single supply op amps have come into play in nowadays. The two supply pins are normally connected in any one of the following three ways. Here, the first circuit diagram shows the voltage supplies are applied at 7th and 4th terminals. Positive terminal having plus 12 volts and negative terminal having minus 12 volts. And the next circuit diagram shows the positive supply voltage applied to the plus 12 volts only, and the negative supply voltage is grounded. This is for single supply voltage op amp, and either of the single supply voltages are applied. And the next one is the next circuit shows the 7th positive supply voltage is grounded and the negative supply voltage applied at the 4th terminal is minus 12 volts. Below this 12 volts, the performance of op amps becomes decreases. That's why we can apply the voltage source above the 12 volts and below 15 volts. Then the op amp performance should be good. This is about the op amp supply voltage. The main important concept in this operational amplifier is the block diagram representation of op amp. Block diagram of op amp. Here the block diagram having 4 stages. First one is input stage, second one is intermediate stage or gain stage, third one is level shifting stage, and fourth one is output stage. These 4 stages are cascading one stage to another stage are directly coupled from one stage to another stage. Here the block diagram having 4 main parts. We are explaining one by one. First input stage having dual input balanced output, and intermediate stage is having dual input unbalanced output. Dual input means giving two input terminals, balanced output means the output taken across the two terminals. Then that output is nothing but balanced output. In intermediate stage, the output of the input stage is given to the input to the intermediate stage. Then the intermediate stage having dual input and unbalanced output. The output at the intermediate stage is 1. The output taken across only one terminal, then that it is called as unbalanced output. This output is given as input to the level shifting stage, and the level shifting stage produces output, and the output is taken the output is given to the output stage as input. Then finally the output stage produces output. Here go to our concept. First stage, input stage. The first stage is having a differential amplifier with dual input and balanced output. Dual input means having two input terminals, and balanced output means having the output is taken across two terminals of an op amp. Then it is nothing but balanced output. Its output voltage is proportional to the difference of the two input voltages, because the inputs are applied to inverting and non-inverting terminals are different, then the output is directly proportional to the difference of the two input voltages. Then the two input transistors of this stage operate at low collector currents. The two input transistors, that means when V1 is input terminal and V2 is input terminal, these are nothing but formation of transistors. These transistors, we are previously discussing about the transistor is a differential amplifier. If two different input terminals are given to the transistors, then it produces output at any one of the configuration. Here we have the two input transistors of this stage operate at a low collector currents, since the gain of the transistor is finite. The input stage produces finally the finite gain, in which some current flows to the base terminal to support the collector current. These currents are called bias currents. The bias current flowing through any impedance connected at the input and generates that are amplified to produce output voltage. If the impedance, the bias current flows through the impedance, then the output decreases. If the output decreases, the gain also decreases. That's why then it produces a finite gain in the input stage. The main concept of input stage is producing a finite gain only. It is a dual input and balanced output stage. Next one is the basic features of input stage. First is high input impedance. If the input impedance is high, then the allowance of current through the input terminals is low. Then the input flows through the amplifier is low. Then it produces the magnified, that means the amplified output is produced at the output terminal. And second one is low bias current. The current flows through the base terminal or collector currents becomes low. And third one is negligible offset. The offset produced at the output is negligible. And fourth one is finite loop gain. If the gain is finite, the loop gain, then here there is no connection between the intermediate stage and the input stage, then there is no feedback here. If there is no feedback, then it produces a open loop gain. Here the open loop gain of input stage is finite. This is about the input stage. Next stage is intermediate stage. The intermediate stage, in case of input stage, the output terminals are given as input to the intermediate stage. The outputs of input stage is given to the next stage is called intermediate stage. This stage is also having differential amplifier with dual input and balanced output. Unbalanced output, dual inputs. Here we have the intermediate stage having two input terminals, single output terminal. That's why then it is having unbalanced output. The gain requirement of this stage is very high. The input stage cannot provide such a high gain. The main function of intermediate stage to provide an additional voltage gain. The main function of this intermediate stage is to provide the maximum voltage gain at the output terminal of intermediate stage. In input stage, the finite gain produced. In intermediate stage, the gain requirement is high. The next stage is level shifting stage. In the op amp block diagram, all the stages are directly coupled to each other. Directly coupled means there is a connection between one stage to another stage is nothing but a directly coupled. The op amp amplifies DC signals also. The DC voltage level of the previous stage, that nothing but a intermediate stage, gets amplified as the input to the next stage. In case of intermediate stage, the gain is high, then it is given to the level shifting stage, then it produces a high voltage. This voltage . increases the voltage level. If the voltage increases, then the transistor may come into saturation. If the transistor come into saturation, the power that means the voltage leads are near to the supply voltage. This may leads the distortion. To reduce this distortion, we can use the reduction of voltage at the level shifting stage. That means the voltage is decreased by this level shifting stage. In the input stage, gain is finite. In the intermediate stage, is gain is high. Because of that gain, the level shifting stage produces a high voltage. This can be reduced by the level shifting. As here we have, hence, the DC voltage level increases well above the ground potential because of the output of intermediate stage is given to the input to the level shifting stage. That's why the voltage is amplified voltage is applied to the input to the level shifting stage. Then the DC voltage level increases well above the ground potential. Such a high DC voltage level may transistor into saturation. This further may cause the distortion in the output. Distortion is nothing but a change in the output. Hence, before going to the output stage, it is necessary to bring such a high DC voltage to 0 volts with respect to ground. The level shifting stage brings the DC voltage level down to the ground potential. Here we have using emitter follower is generally used as a level shifting stage since its output impedance is very high. Because of production of low voltage, we can use a high output impedance here. Our next stage is output stage. The output stage requires low output impedance and also having a push-pull complementary amplifier. The output stage increases the output voltage. The output produces amplified input signal. Because of that, the output resistance becomes low, then it produces amplified output voltage at the output terminal. That's why the output stage requires low output impedance and also having push and pull complementary amplifier. Then it produces an amplified output at the output voltage. This is about the basic block diagram of a op amp having 4 stages. First one is input stage, second one is intermediate stage, and third one is level shifting stage, and fourth one is output stage. Input stage produces finite gain and output stage produces high gain, and a level shifting stage is used for reducing the high voltage decreases to ground potential, and the output stage produces maximum amplified output voltage at the output terminal. This is about the block diagram of an operational amplifier. Students, I hope you understand this concept of a block diagram of operational amplifier. Thank you.